afternoon, everyone. This is RAND. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Friday, July 18, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a reverse aging health call, all the rest, tonight after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Now, whether we know it or not, no matter if we're conscious or unconscious, human beings or not, the mind is constantly judging ourselves, other people, the world, and anything that it can get a hold of. And the mind was born with the master-like judgeaholic power. It can judge anything in milliseconds. You may not have realized this, yet probably in the last 15 minutes your mind passed 10 judgments on yourself, someone else, or something in the world around you. Now, you ever notice when you get into that, or you're judging others, you just fall into it. It's like automatic. And I don't think I don't believe we purposely do it. I believe that we're in the habit of it in the material physical world. So you see something, or you see a being in there, see someone that you go, wow, look at that one, or oh boy, look at that one. And the funny thing is that when we judge others, we judge ourselves. It's a proven fact that in quantum physics, for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. And this is why we look at the unity of this planet and the civilization, and where we're at spiritually on planet Earth as people. From observing and watching and heart-mindedness, you view this and you see that there is, what's the main frequency that has so many people not knowing who and what they are? Main frequency. Material physical mind. And it keeps us in that cycle, and basically throughout our entire lives till we leave the body. And then, of course, we have a handicap. We come back here and we don't have any memory, and so we do it again and again and again. It's amazing how we repeat. And we don't recognize it. It's not like, oh, I'm doing this. But you do get to a point through meditation, and then when you're in a situation that starts to show you that, hey, I'm falling into that judgment bin, and this is how it happens with everything. You say, I don't care to go there. And you don't go there. And you redirect your attention to something that you want to experience, rather than something you do not want to experience. And I know I've repeated this many, many, many times, but it needs to be repeated millions of times. And when we look at the fact is that we have the opportunity, each of us, to set our mind free. And see, we're pure awareness. We're not the body, we're not the mind. And so we view things. And through the body, we experience things. And through the body, we manifest things to experience. And this is our modus operandi. This is what we do. One might ask, well, what do you do? What is it that we really do on this planet? Well, we're creating 24/7. We are manifesting 24/7. And the majority of us don't know that we're doing that, or do not believe that we're doing that. that it's something else. It's the great galactic flash, or something's going to take care of everything, and we aren't going to have to lift a finger. Those types of things. And then you have frequency waves of mind manipulation. Directing people in the wrong direction, in the lower frequency direction. And so when you look at you say to yourself, I don't care to judge. I don't care to judge myself. I don't care to come down on myself, ridicule myself, yell at myself, degrade myself. And a lot of people do, and they don't think anything of it. Instead of being gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. And being in reverence with yourself at all times. You imagine the catastrophe it would be, okay? If you had a whole planet full of people or beings that were all heavily steeped in ego mind, and you gave them the opportunity to be immortal. Do you see the frequency there? What would happen? It wouldn't be pleasant. Now you have a planetary population of heart-mindedness. It'd be absolutely spectacular, magna glorious, stupendous at all times. And we've been trained so long as a civilization, as a species, that we don't know any better. And this is why we have so much stress, strife, uneasiness, and we focus on things that we don't want. And we find ourselves being sucked into that. And that's ego mind. Fear, as we talked about yesterday, isn't a bad thing. It's a motivator. Anxiety, is it a motivator? Yeah, maybe. And when we start to know ourselves and we spend time with ourselves, it's where you're by yourself. You are with you. Every day we should practice that. Being with yourself, wherever it may be. You might take a walk, or you might sit out in nature, or just go sit in your car, but just be with yourself. No outside distractions, nobody around, no interaction, no interfacing, but sitting with you. Being with you. And this is where you can look at a lot of things and determine whether or not, hey, do I want to keep this or not? And then you think about it and you say, no, it really doesn't serve me any good, any greater good. It usually serves me irritation. I've been hanging on to it for a long time. I'm going to surrender it, let it go. Say, hey, universe, this is yours. And we're constantly cleaning house because we're constantly putting stuff in our house. And what's the stuff? Oh, the worries, the stresses, the fears, the anxieties, the angers, the disappointments, the joy, the happiness, the bliss, as short-lived as it is in ego mind. And we collect. And so we dump and we collect. We dump and we collect. It's like we're fighting against ourselves. Once we get rid of some stuff and there's some space, then a whole bunch more stuff comes piling in. And this is where we realize that the mind is relentless, always has to have the space filled. It'd go crazy if there was just total emptiness. And we choose to do that. We choose to go into, let's clean the whole place. Let's go through everything. Positives and negatives, the in-betweens, and let's clean it out once and for all. And not only that, but be aware of the ego mind so that you're watching the ego mind and you kind of start getting a feeling, a comprehension that what it's really about. The ego mind is a super insecure illusion. And it is designed to constantly want and never, ever be fulfilled because of how it believes. That it always wants what it wants, and it's never, ever fulfilled. And it doesn't know that it's part of the God, because we created it to experience it. It's the same with fear. It's the same with all those emotions that we have. Well, that's why focusing on the now, even though you're tempted to go into tomorrow or the next day or the next day, you focus only on the now. It's what we have. And see, by doing that, you leave the ego mind alone with all of its chatter. You leave it alone. It's there, but you're not in it. You're watching it because you know you want to learn and you want to master it, so it's not there anymore. Same with your thoughts. Most of us are inundated with other people's thoughts. You know, we're the sky and the clouds are the thoughts. So the clouds start, they start coming by. And a lot of us just grab the cloud and we bring it into our reality. But it isn't our thought, it's someone else's thought. And this is how all of us have been raised. Generation after generation. Millennium after millennium. This is how we've been raised. With other people's thoughts. Other information. It isn't ours. We had really nothing to do with it. We're an empty vessel, and then all this stuff is piled in. And then we sift through it to determine what we want to believe and what direction we want to be in, even though it's everybody else's thoughts. And there are literally trillions of thoughts on this planet. They've been here for a long time. There's generations and millennia and thousands and millions of years of other people's thoughts. And they float around like clouds in the sky, and we inadvertently, we just grab them and bring them in and make them our own. And I've said this several times, we have to break the cycle as a species. And the only way to do that is to come in to the now and heart-mindedness and meditation. There's no other way. It's been tried, many different ways have been attempted, but without success. In order for us to get into the highest frequency possible, this is the direction that we must take. And if we choose not to, then it's just a continual reincarnation, catch-22 scenario. And that's proven, isn't it? You would believe that, okay, so we have a World War I. Okay? Now we have World War I. Why would we repeat that and have a World War II? Does that make any sense? So evidently we didn't learn anything from World War I, so now we've got to have another war to see if we're going to learn and not have another war. We have World War II, then we have Vietnam. You see how this works? How we do this collectively as a civilization? Why do we repeat things? Because we don't learn. And one of the biggest things is we follow the leader. We follow the leader. And throughout this civilization's throughout the ages of the existence of civilization, that's been the case. Following one man, whoever it may be, whomever. And we follow them, and because we believe them, right? Do you follow yourself? That's a question to ask. Do you follow yourself? Now, in order to follow yourself, you have got to have 100% faith, trust, and confidence in yourself in this universe. 100%. When we doubt, we negate it. So when you have that, and you've established that, you follow yourself. You have the confidence in yourself. The decisions you make for yourself, the directions you take for yourself. Oh, well, you're a black sheep then. See, we go back to that. You're a black sheep. They're a black sheep. They don't fit in. And that used to be they used to, in society, it's called a bad thing. Oh, you don't mess with them, they're black sheep. And actually, it's a good thing. Okay? We do not conform because it isn't our natural state of being. Now, as you know, many of us have been zombified, which means that our attention and self-recognition through heart-mindedness is almost not there. And we've become so used to following, right? And being led rather than following ourselves and leading ourselves. That's our natural state of being. That's our freedom. All of us are wild and free. We get in these bodies and then we inherit all of these other things and emotionalities, and then we think we're free, but we're not. Right? And so when we think we're free, it feels okay, you kind of, easy peasy, breezy, wheezy, and then you come across things and go, I thought I was free, but I'm really not. And why? So why? The difference between being totally free and not free is that you create walls around your heart because you want to protect your ego. Now, it's not really you knowing I got to protect my ego. You believe that you're protecting yourself. Protecting yourself from being hurt, protecting you from harm, protecting yourself all across the board. And you remember me using the analogy, imagine a bunch of people on a sunny day walking around, and they're all trying to protect their shadows. That would be a laugh. That'd be a good belly laugh. You see, several hundred people trying to, what are you doing? Oh, I got to protect my shadow. So we don't have to protect anything because the ego is an illusion. And the ego isn't us. We're the leaders of ourselves. We're not really followers, but we have been commissioned through frequency programming to be followers. Follow the leader. Right? Used to be a game called that when I was a kid. We called it Follow the Leader. Whatever the leader did, not Simon Says, but it was a game. We had fun with it. So when you come to the conclusion on your own, with your own volition, and you say, you know what? I am not a follower. And it's not about being revengeful or angry or get even. It is through the heart-mind to discover you're not a follower. Nobody on this planet's a follower. They are independent from the standpoint, in these bodies, as the illusion, thinkers. But when you can get many to all think the same, then you've got them. You have them in the cell. You have them imprisoned. But it's been going on for a long time. I mean, millions of years. One might ask, well, how do you shift that? How do you move out of that? Through heart-mindedness, through meditation. That's why we do these meditations every day, 365 days a year. Come to the realization is that everything we have been taught, for the most part, is an untruth. It's false. It's not. And this is why we have so many issues and so many challenges and so many problems in these lives, because we have been taught the untruth, and we live the untruth. Do we know that? I think more and more waking up to that fact. And that's why some people will research to find out for themselves. They'll dig and dig and dig and dig. And then they'll come up with information and share it with everybody else. And having faith that those people they share it with will assimilate it, will absorb it, and learn from it, and then begin to research themselves. Dig and find out truths and not untruths. If someone said to you, you know, you've been living a lie for the last 80 years. And you become, you know, defensive because you're protecting the ego mind. And you say, well, how do you figure that? Well, I'll show you. Like a show and tell. And then, of course, well, how do I know that's real? Well, then I'll cross-reference it and show you this over here that was made several thousand years ago. What would happen if many of us on this planet decided to follow ourselves? That doesn't mean that we wouldn't interact and respect one another. It just means that we would decide for ourselves. We wouldn't have to go to someone else and say, what do you think? How many times have you said that in this lifetime alone? What do you think? Right? Simple things like going to dinner, having lunch, you know, or deciding what to do. And you're with someone and so what do you want to do? And they say, I don't know, what do you want to do? And he said, I don't know. So it's like, you know, who's on first? The old Abbott and Costello skit on the radio. So when you, what do you want to eat tonight? I don't know, what do you want to eat tonight? You answer a question with a question. Instead of just for yourself deciding, I'm going to have this. Simple stuff. This trivial stuff. But you'd be amazed when we start rearranging the trivial stuff and we start answering our own questions. We start discovering that we can answer our own questions. It's like you say to yourself, why am I so indecisive? Why can't I just choose this? We get to a point where we become dependent on others for certain things. Not everything, in most cases, but for certain things. He says, hey, Alice, what do you think? Well, I really have not really thought about that. Or Bill, what do you think? That's going on right now. What do you think about this? See, you know, I want your opinion. So your opinion will influence what I decide I'm going to agree upon. So you get a group of people talking about different opinions, sharing their opinions. Well, I disagree with you there. I think this and that. And a lot of times it gets into what? Friction. Because everybody usually is an ego mind, trying to defend their ego and trying to be right. And to be right. You're either right or you're either wrong or right with the ego mind. And these are things, that all of this is learning how to master it. You have to be aware of it in order to begin mastering. If you aren't aware of it, you aren't going to master it. And it is a process, but it's a decision and a choice that each of us, if we haven't made it yet, it is an inevitability that eventually we will make it. We make it in this lifetime? Who knows? Next lifetime? Who knows? Maybe the next lifetime. But we will get there. So it's like you come across certain ones that you interact with, that you associate with, that you identify that they seem to be on similar belief patterns. And you come across others that aren't. So it's a variety. You know, it's like someone would say to you, and just for giggles, say, I think Joe Biden was the greatest president in the history of the country. Well, of course, you have researched and you're aware, and you go, what do you say, right? You don't go into that. You just say, oh, well, you know. See what I mean? If people didn't talk about politics and they didn't talk about religion and these sensitive subjects that, you know, it's either my way or the highway with a lot of people on these beliefs, we would not have a lot of the hot air that we have accumulated on this planet. And hot air meaning, you know, frustration and be right. See? That's part of ego mind. You want to be right. Oh, no, I'm right. You're wrong. I'm right. And there's been a lot of arguments about that throughout the ages. Who's right? Who's wrong? And you say to someone, I'm neither right nor wrong. I'm kind of in between. It's just my perception. It's how I perceive things, just like how you perceive things. So you may look at something a lot different than I do, but it doesn't mean you're wrong or I'm wrong. Maybe we're in-betweeners. Wrong takes you down a negative energetic frequency path. Oh, darn it, I thought I had that right, that question. I answered it. I know that was right, and it was not right. How many times have you assumed, supposed about something you felt like it was dead on, that you knew you were right, and that was it, okay? And then it would come out that you were totally wrong. Big deal. Right? Say to yourself, big deal. It isn't. It's trivial. And most of us in this life don't have enough fun. We don't. And then when we're ready, we're leaving the body. You say, man, I didn't have I wanted to have fun in this life. I didn't get to have fun. I was too predisposed with worrying about this and getting this right, and getting this and doing that, and it consumed me. Or I carried these grudges my whole life. Why? And now it's over. And you're not going to be able to do anything about it. Or we spend a lot of time being what? Vengeful, carrying grudges, disappointments, and which becomes very irritating to us. So we irritate ourselves and we carry all this baggage, and what happens? We carry it all the way to the end of this life cycle. Instead of during the time that it happens, we say, I forgive myself and I forgive whatever it is that I feel wronged me, or whoever, whatever situation. Because we do have a tendency to carry it year after year after year, and every now and then bring it up. You ever notice that? We bring it up, and then we talk about it. And we always have, we put together these stories, and we tell them again, and we repeat them. Oh, I remember when I was doing this, and we take them all through life. But no one's really, most of the time, interested in those stories. Because you're moving forward, not backward. You're moving forward. You're walking forward. You're going up the steps. And you start to realize is that the joy of this life is everything around you. That's the joy of material physical life. The joy is everything around you. The leaves fluttering in the wind, the sun shining, or the rain falling. It doesn't matter. It's everything around us that this life's about. People, places. You ever notice that? You go to one place, it's totally different. You experience it. You experience culture, people. And then you go to another place, totally different. Some people get addicted to this, and all they want to do is travel. Because they like the difference in different people and cultures around the world. So all they want to do is travel. And live out a suitcase, pretty much. Others, they just like staying put in their town or city. Really, pretty much. They don't really care to travel. And that's choice for all of us. Some do, some do, some do, some don't, so what? But we create this. But have you ever noticed that most of the time we are so distracted by all of the goop that we miss the wonderment of this life? That we miss all the things that we could have looked at or just been with and enjoyed it when we were too preoccupied with all of the other goop and we didn't free ourselves. Because we're in these bodies, we don't know how long. You can live to be 500, 600,000. Sooner or later, you're going to leave. Doesn't it make sense to enjoy the life, embrace things, don't take it so seriously, and stop worrying about things you don't want? and concentrate on the things you do want. If you want a healthy body, concentrate on a healthy body. If you want anomalies or situations that you have with that body, concentrate on a healthy, happy body. Don't let that stuff drag you down and cause you into the worry pit for the next several years, months, weeks, days, whatever. The whole process of this is determining what life you choose to live. And most of us create a life that we don't choose to live. And then we say that it's not us, it's Let's Life. There was a song years ago, That's Life. But when we stop protecting our ego mind, we look at it and say, that's true. That's true. And you got to say this over and over again, because most of the people on this planet have an attention span of 8 seconds. Why do you think I repeat things so much to people? Just so they can absorb it. And that's why when you read a book, you enjoyed it, and you say, I'm going to read it again, so you read it again, and you pick up things that you didn't pick up at all the first time. You could read it 3 or 4 times, and you'll pick up more things. That's why. What happened to the retention factor of this species? It's been genetically modified. That's it right there. Frequencied. Okay? So if you have a people that have an attention span of 8 seconds, you're going to have people forgetting about things all the time. This is why we have such a massive epidemic of Alzheimer's and dementia. People, how many people have you communicated with, let's say in the last 3 years, whether they're loved ones, strangers, or people, friends, that you notice memory problems, where they repeat themselves, or you say something to them, and you're just saying, you're not looking for any negatives, and then within a matter of minutes, you pose a question to them that you had just asked them, they had answered, but they answer it and act like it was never posed to them before, and they answered it before. You ever notice that? It's pretty rampant. It's spread throughout this country, and more and more people are noticing it. You're talking on the phone with somebody, and you notice that they repeat themselves. Yeah, you already told me that. Oh, okay. And so what is that? What's that about? Well, we'll talk about that tonight on the Reverse Aging Health Call. See, all the things that we have, these bodies were designed in full perfection to regenerate everything in the body, the skin, the organs, everything. Period. But we lost the wisdom of that. It's contained within us, but we don't know where it's at. We don't know how to find it. It's to heal yourself. The body heal itself. Every segment, every few years, it renews itself. Okay? But we have the main, what is the main dis-ease on this planet for all life? Aging. It's a dis-ease. Why? Well, because of so many tinkering going on with these bodies throughout the ages. Tinkering, genetic sequencing, changing, and believing that's improving. But for us, unfortunately, it's disassembly. And it's good that we think about this, because being aware of something, like I have said, is tremendously powerful. You're aware that there are things that you can think about, and then it happens, and sometimes you'll correlate it and say, I just manifested that. That's phenomenal. You want your body to heal, and it heals. You have someone else that's constantly focused on an anomaly in their body, and they make it more. See? But if you focus on the body being happy and healthy and what you want, in a lot of cases, it heals. But we've had our height shrunk. We've had other things, and then we're laid with the disease of aging, and we can circumvent all that. We have the opportunity to do it. But what's the stopper for most of us? Belief in oneself, 100% faith in oneself, trust, and confidence. That's the kicker. Because most of us do not have that confidence. We second guess ourselves. We question ourselves more than we ever should have. And this causes a frequency, a harmonics, if you will, that's low, and it negates our opportunity to we have that power within us, but we don't utilize it, so we negate it. This is why we've been trained, almost like lab rats, to go to what? Doctor. One time in our country, what would happen if you had a sick child or something? This was years ago. 50s. You had a sick child, you would call the family doctor, and the doctor would come over with his black bag. House calls. We had those all the time. We had them for quite a while, which made the child feel so much better, or the adult feel so much better, that the doctor was there. It was more personable, more warming, friendly. Okay? You see what's happened because of attitude, perspective, and frequency training? See what's happened to the civilization? Just in our country alone. And where we didn't lock the doors because we didn't need to. We go to bed at night and felt fine, safe. We did a lot of things. We had, and these are things that we should really look at as a people. And we had, even whether you lived in that time or not, we had neighborhoods. And you could actually have friends, and actually people interacted with each other. But look at us now. See, we have comparisons, which is so empowering. We can compare things. Well, that was then, and things were different then, and this is how the ego mind blows it off. Not really. Not really. How many of us today, okay, have a Sunday dinner with the family? Just not religiously wise, but just the Sunday dinner, where everybody sat together and talked, interacted as a family. Do we do that anymore? Maybe on rare occasion in this country that still happens, but it used to be the norm. Togetherness, interaction. But see, the technology has come in and has kind of pulled that away. You could drive downtown in any place in this country. The downtown, you've got some stores and shops and stuff. Nothing big. And you drive down Main Street. There's always usually a Main Street. And you drive down Main Street and you look in the windows of the restaurants, which are shrinking greatly. But you look at the windows in the restaurants and you see people doing what? Their faces are lit up and they're staring at a technology device. They're not talking with each other. They're not communicating with each other. They're poured right into that device. The best therapy that any of us can have is genuine one-on-one conversation, in person, interacting, talking, communicating, with your eyes, touching, all of it. This is imperative for any civilization to remain warm, genuine, interactive, happy, joyous. Do we have that? See? This is why you always hear me say, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Focus on what you want. That gathering and that getting together, it's still, it's still there, but it's really greatly been reduced. Not like it used to be. Well, it's never going to be like it used to be because everything changes. Change is an illusion, right? But I believe that you're going to see Entrepreneurship in this country will be highest it's ever been in the history of the country or on the planet. And it won't be how to screw people. It will be how to serve people. That's what it's going to be. Huge shift. What does that do? Increases vibrational frequency. Increases the harmonics on how people view each other, how they view themselves. A lot more passion, a lot more compassion. Genuineness, truthfulness, authentic, genuine beings. Masks aren't needed because they love themselves exactly the way they are. See, this is part of New Earth. This is not New Earth will not be like anything that you are currently experiencing at all. Nothing like it at all. But the nice thing will be is that you will be able to make comparison if you choose to. That wow, that was one heck of an experience in third dimensional Earth, and it has been, hasn't it? I mean, it's probably the most powerful teacher anywhere in this quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy. To be on this planet and to be in material physical form. It's phenomenal. Learning, experiencing, interacting, expressing. So in a quiet time of this meditation, you may want to just contemplate. Really, truly, it's why I gave out all that information, is to focus on how would you like it to be in the higher vibrational frequency of New Earth? What would you, and do it with your heart, obviously heart-mindedness, focusing on your breath rising and falling, being in the silence, the stillness, and you'll get answers. And you'll have responses, and you may have a picture and feeling exactly what it is that you would like to embrace in New Earth. I join you in meditation. I'll return and close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. Set your mind free. Free your mind from the prison it is in. You are unbounded, unlimited, untainted, pure awareness. Absolute freedom is your natural state. The best news is that there is nothing that you have to do to achieve it. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night. Following morning, we'll return here tonight, Friday, July 18th, 2025, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation, or our reverse aging health call and all the rest. And Saturday, July 19th, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you. Open your heart. Allow the magic to flow in.